International week is over. The Premier League is back. Ronaldo is also back.
On the Plot Malaysia.
Hello, welcome to the Plot Malaysia. It is our 80th episode. This is the show for the fans.
By the fans.
Woohoo! Whoa. The international week, of course, is over. Now the Premier League, we can all go back into our usual routine on Saturdays and Sundays to watch the Premier League and, of course, enjoy Ronaldo's debut. I know Harry's not going to enjoy it so much, but I know I am.
I never know. I might enjoy it, bro. He might get red carded, or he might end up an absolute flop on the day. So I might enjoy it as well. You never know.
Okay, Harry. Let's see what happens. But hey, guys, we are live today, of course. But we are going to be accompanied by a very special guest as well, a very old friend of ours as well, who used to play football with us, and he's here to join us and talk football. So let's welcome Gaurav.
Hey guys, hi. How you doing?
Hey.
Good. Welcome,
See
Gary.
you too.
Good to see you,
been
man,
a while.
Gaurav. Oh yes, it's been a very long
I'm
time.
like
And by the way,
United kid, Ram.
oh, thank you. I think yours is on the way soon, right? You just told me yesterday. It's
On the way.
soon,
Yes, sir.
I've got to say it's a bit of a crap kit, like team viewer and all that. Come on, man.
Hey, Gary. By the way, guys, we also call Gaurav. Gaurav is also known as Gary. So, Gary, have you seen the latest Liverpool yellow kit? The one that looks like Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, I thought they ordered it. I saw they had sent I saw a few people from McDonald's actually shipping it over to Enfield. So they pass the house quite frequently.
Hey, I'm not complaining. If we end up anywhere near as successful as McDonald's over the next coming season, I'll take that, bro.
Have your cheeseburgers.
What is up with that kid, man? What is up with that kid? Oh my god.
Yep.
Well, I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest, as well.
There you go. Even the Liverpool fan admits it, so it's cool. So, Harry, what's the program for us today? Do tell us.
All right, man, guys. Obviously, you see Gary there with his United kit. Depressing as it may seem, the two of them with their United kits. So we're gonna talk about. Obviously, we're gonna preview the games over the weekend. The international week, like Ram said, is over. It's such a waste of time. Never been a fan of that crap. The Premiership is back, and this is the real deal. And of course, not just the Premier League. There's someone else who's back, and that's why we've got Gary here today. Because the big man, some people call him the GOAT. I refuse to believe that, but he's back. They keep saying he's coming back home. Actually, his home is Lisbon, so I think you guys got that wrong, but he's back indeed at United, where his career took off. So guys, I think that's the only place we're going to start. But before we get started on Ronaldo itself, let's quickly have for our viewers show them what's in store this weekend in terms of Premier League fixtures. So the early kickoff is Crystal Palace Spurs. Can Crystal Palace put an end to the Spurs winning run of 1-0 under Mr. Nuno Espirito Santo? Spurs on top of the table, of course. And then Arsenal. Is it going to be one more defeat? Wow, against Norwich, man.
Kasian Arsenal. Hello.
If they lose this one, I think it's game over for Mr. Arteta.
I think so too.
And they're probably going to start getting serious about relegation fears. But anyway, Brentford, Brighton. It should be a good game as well. Brentford played lovely football, so did Brighton. Both teams doing well. Leicester, Man City. This should be a cracker, actually. An absolute cracker. Leicester, Man City. We'll talk about that as well, guys, later in the show. Man United, Newcastle. I'll come back to that. Southampton, West Ham. Should also be a good game, actually. West Ham in good form with Michail Antonio, a Jamaican, leading the line. Watford, Wolves. This one. Cracking in the sense that both teams, I don't think, have won in the league as yet. I think both have suffered. Watford, I think, won, but Wolves have not won at all. And then the Sunday fixtures, Chelsea, Aston Villa. This is a really good game as well, guys, because obviously Villa in good form have made some really good signings with Bundia and Danny Ings leading the line. And then Leeds Liverpool, which should be a firecracker. Everyone remembers Mark Viduka's
Go
against
Leeds!
Liverpool again in Ellen Road. So it's Leeds against Liverpool, which should be a firecracker. And then Everton Burnley is the Monday night game.
Wow.
So yeah, under Rafa Benitez, Everton doing pretty well. But I think there's no other place to start than with the big game. So like I said, Mr. Ronaldo is back. So Ram and Mr. Gary, what do you guys think about this game, man? How excited are you guys going into this into this fixture? Firstly,
Let Gary answer this, man. Gary, you're a guest.
Oh
You go
man,
first.
thank you. I think all eyes going to be on Ole this weekend. I think with Ronaldo's return, obviously your question is he going to start? Is he going to make an appearance? I read a report that said that he may not start because he's not gotten enough training. But I think the international team has released him, and it was good to see him back with the boys in Carrington. The question becomes how does now Ole kind of use him in the team with Sancho there, with Greenwood there. I think we've got Cavani back as well. I am super excited. I think if you're a United fan, even if you're a football fan, you have to be excited at the prospect of seeing Ronaldo back in Trafford. I mean, this guy he's won every single thing, and I expect United to win this easily. It's a home game, and I think I think the previous home performance was it a 5-1 victory on our opening day.
Yep,
right.
against Leeds, correct.
But I think it'll all come down to, can Solskjaer ultimately get his tactics right? Will he be able to use the players at his disposal in an effective manner? The squad is definitely a little bit more complete now. I think he's got that depth that was lacking in previous seasons. But it will all come down to how he manages to effectively rotate the players. And I think interestingly, there's some big egos in the team as well. I mean, these are, Ronaldo, is he going to be playing every game this season? He's 36 years old, right? It'll be interesting to see how that I suppose that friendship borderline, from a former player, sort of colleague, so to speak, on the football pitch. Now he's become a manager, so it's kind of like his boss. Will he be okay with Ole making those big decisions and saying, Ronaldo, you're not going to play this game? You might play, we might use you sparingly. So it'll be interesting to see that dynamic in that relationship as well.
I 100% agree with you. Agree with you, Gary. Yep, totally agree with you.
Some really good points there. I mean, Ram, I'll let you chime in as well as a United fan, but just points to pick out of that. I think you're right, man. United will have a real bounce. I think the crowd will be real positive vibes. Ronaldo is back, so I think they'll easily win this game. And like Gary said, I think the real test won't be this game; it'll be the matches after that. How he can integrate Ronaldo into the squad. How does he tell him, Ronaldo of all people, that you got to sit out a few games because he doesn't take that? I think so. How does that relationship work out? And I think a big one as well is penalty taking duties and free kick taking duties. Ronaldo wants to be on top of all these. Let me ask the question of both of you guys, man. Let's start with you, Ram. Who takes the penalty duty? Who takes the free kick duties now that Ronaldo's in town?
I think the smart move would definitely be for, of course, Bruno to take it until he misses it. I think that's what I'm hoping for. But it could also be that Ronaldo wants to make his mark. So if he does get a penalty, probably Ronaldo will take it. It could be so many different ways to look at it. But if you ask me who I prefer taking the penalty,
and the free kicks, I'm going to add free kicks to that as well, by the way.
I would prefer Bruno taking the penalties because in terms of penalty record, I think Bruno has it better than Ronaldo. In that sense, he's more consistent. Free kicks, I think United has not had a proper free kick taker that could guarantee us goals from the free kick. We have had Bruno scoring a couple, but it's not been like consistent like every single game. When we do have a penalty on the edge of the box, for a fact that he's probably going to cross it over to some player or keeper is going to save it. I think that would mean that it's time for Ronaldo to step up to take those free kicks because he is known for that, that dipping ball, that knuckle, that toe poke, that knuckle punch on the ball. I think that would be, would be good memories being relived again, when he takes on that free kick. So I think, free kicks Ronaldo, penalties Bruno. That's for me.
Interesting. Where do you stand on this, Gary?
I think Ronaldo is going to take everything.
Yeah, he demands it, isn't it? He demands it. He takes everything.
And I mean, I think very good point that Ram raised and shared on Bruno. I think he's got an excellent spot kick record. But I think Ronaldo is going to demand that respect from the teammates. And I mean, he's not going to be having to force them to give him that respect. It's going to happen naturally, right?
Naturally.
He's a guy who, like I said, who has won everything and anything. I can't think of a more complete footballer. He's got, I think, in terms of ability, free kicks, penalties, he's the man for me. I think even I mean if I was the opposition goalie and if I were to see Ronaldo lining up to take a penalty against me versus Bruno, I think I would rather face Bruno, respectfully to Bruno as well. But Ronaldo just has, I mean, he's just Ronaldo. I don't think I need to say anything anymore. Yeah. He's Cristiano.
Cristiano, and he's back. What a day is going to be for all United fans to watch him back. Of course, so many things to look forward to. I mean, I'm just hoping, Gary, just like you, I'm just hoping that the game would be as easy as it can be, and United could actually sail through this game. Halftime 3-0. Woohoo, fantastic! Ronaldo hat trick, even better. But I'm also looking for the defense to shine in this one. I'm hoping that they don't concede. And I hope Rafael Varane would step up as well and control the back line, because I think we need to see how good they perform as well. And of course, with Fred not making an appearance due to the ban for FIFA, so I'm good to see who would actually take his place. I hope Donny Van de Beek will come in, and do that. So that'll be interesting as well for me to watch.
I'm gonna ask another question here, right, guys? So of course, looking at the Newcastle game specifically. Obviously, it's all about Ronaldo. And actually, good point. Actually, will he start in your opinion, guys, or will he come off the bench?
I think he would. Start. I just had this slight feeling that he would start.
I think he'll come off the bench.
Okay.
I mean, I hope they unveil him. Like the way they unveiled Varane. But I don't know. To be really honest, guys, I hope my wife is not watching this, because she comes back from the UK after being a year apart. She left last year in September. Then we had this lockdown, so I actually haven't seen her in a year.
Wow!
And she comes back on September 11th, right?
Okay.
I'm actually more excited to see Ronaldo than I am to see my wife.
Okay.
And she knows it, right? It's not an open secret. I think the point you made on Varane at the back, it was really good seeing him kind of I think maybe holding fort, if that's a term that I can use, against Wolves. I thought he was a really commanding presence at the back. Some excellent tackles, even on Adama Traore last week. And with all that experience, you naturally fit in, and I think he's won 14 of the finals that he's been in. He's won every single one of them. This guy is a winner, right? And you for people like that, you put them on the pitch, they know how to read the game. Everybody around them becomes a better player. And Ram, I completely agree with you. I'm a Donny Van de Beek fan. I've actually suffered as a fan not seeing this guy get football time on the pitch. I think he had a recent chat with Rio Ferdinand as well, where he actually mentioned that it's not been easy on him. It's actually dented his confidence a little bit. I would be really, really pleased to see him out tomorrow. So fully agree with you there. It'll be exciting. I think a lot.
I don't think that's going to happen, right? He never plays Donny Van de Beek, even if it's the smallest team in the Premier League he's up against. Van de Beek just never plays like he's. I think it's a shame. It's a waste of talent. But well, that's Solskjaer's decision to make, and it's all good for a Liverpool fan there. I'd rather you guys play Fred and McTominay every day of the week. Quick one, guys.
I bet you would.
So I think your defense is pretty solid, right? It's I know you know who's going to start in defense. Who would you like to see start from midfield up top? Gary, I'll start with you on this one.
I would like to see Donny Van de Beek. I think I would like to see him in the squad. Obviously, I think Bruno is there. Pogba is going to be starting. I even want to see Sancho I'm excited for our new signings to get some proper time.
So who would your front three be? So let's say your midfield is. I mean, obviously you would like Donny van de Beek, Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, the three in there. Who would your front three be for tomorrow's game?
I'd actually go with a 4-4-2, to be honest.
Okay.
I'd go with 4 at the back and 4 in the center. So I'd have I suppose Van de Beek and Fernandes in the center of the park. I would have Sancho wide right, Pogba on the left, and I would like to see a front two of Ronaldo and Cavani tomorrow, to be honest.
Cavani and Ronaldo.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I mean, even when you see managers kind of tinkering around with all these exciting new formations, and I'm no manager. I'll put my hand up and tell you that, but you've got so much talent at your disposal. I think the defense looks pretty solid. Just go all out, man. Attack them from the start.
Absolutely agree with you all. I think I wouldn't change that. I think I would stick with the same what Gary has said. But to some extent, I know I might sound controversial by saying this, right? But I wouldn't mind if Ole actually if he didn't play a 4-4-2, for example, if he decides to play any other formation like a 4-3-3 or whatever have you, I wouldn't mind if he actually puts Pogba on the bench. I wouldn't mind. To have Sancho and of course Greenwood.
I was just going to say, man, how do you leave Greenwood out? Isn't he scored in the first 3 games for you guys? And he scored some decisive goals as well. Probably the best finisher you guys have.
Correct. So I would have put Greenwood instead of Pogba just to see how things flow, and see how it goes. Because you never know what Pogba's plans are. Is he going to stay? Is he going to leave? So, that would be the only thing I will tweak is that. But other than that, I agree with you, Gary, on everything else. Yeah.
I just wish you guys played that formation against Liverpool, man, with Donny van de Beek, Pogba, Fernandes, and all the three. You basically won't have a midfield and no one to defend. I'm waiting for that kind of a game, bro. But I think this weekend
can keep dreaming. You can keep dreaming, Hari, but it's not going to happen. Okay?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. All right, guys, listen. What about a quick prediction from you guys? Score prediction, and then obviously I want to know the goal scorers as well because I think there's a particular interest on who's going to get the goals this weekend. Let's start with you, Gary.
I'm going to say 4-0 United. I'm going big. 4-0 United. I think we will see Ronaldo on the score sheet. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to go with him.
Is he going to get a hat-trick?
No, he's not going to get a hat-trick. He's going to get one goal late in the game. He'll probably score the last goal. I think Sancho is going to get on the score sheet tomorrow as well. And I think if Greenwood is playing, Greenwood will score. And Bruno is going to get his goal.
Okay.
The usual suspects.
Goals well spread out the team. What about you, Ram?
I think I'm going to go with 5-0.
My man.
I'm going to go with 5-0. Sorry, Newcastle fans out there. It's just what we hope for. Ronaldo will score brace 2 goals. I think Bruno will score 1 goal. Greenwood will score. And I think I would really, really love to see Donny van de Beek getting on the score sheet. Really. I think this is one way for him to prove his worth. So, yeah, I hope for that.
He's definitely not getting on that score sheet, bro. He doesn't play. I'm actually going to say, cheers, Ankit. Welcome.
Cheers, Ankit. Hi.
I'm actually going to say, for my side, so let me go with the prediction as well, guys. I'm going to say 3-1. So I'm going to go United to win 3-1. I actually think, I think probably Ronaldo will score. If he plays, he scores, right? Standard. I think Greenwood will score. But I'm actually, the one I'm giving is because I've got a favorite player who plays for Newcastle. I think he's an absolute brilliant player. And his name I love as well. Alain Saint-Maximin. So I'm going to go with him to get 1 goal. I think he's an absolutely brilliant player. Plays for the wrong club, unfortunately. But top player. So yeah, guys, let's move on now. A couple of interesting comments, and I want to highlight them actually because we will talk about this fairly importantly, which is obviously it's going to be weird with the ban that's imposed. Coming across, and then obviously farcical events. I think Fred is one of the players that's in the Brazilian amongst the players that is going to be banned this weekend, right? I mean,
even Firmino, Edison. I mean, for Liverpool, Alisson as well. So I think a few of them will be
but I
banned.
think Ankit's got a really good point, right? Maybe your dream comes true when the big starts because Fred is banned. Let's see if that happens. But one of the teams to really suffer, one of the games I think that's really going to suffer from this this FIFA ban thing is a game we might want to concentrate on next, which is Leeds Liverpool. And I think this ties in really well with what Eugene is saying about obviously the players being banned, right? Because from a Liverpool perspective, we've got 3 players who are banned essentially. Firmino is injured, so he won't really feel the ban, but Alisson, Fabinho potentially. I mean, there are rumors that they might settle this and they might be allowed to play, but I think it's still ongoing. But Alisson, Fabinho, 2 really important players for us, and even Leeds are going to lose one, which is Rafinha. Potentially for the game as well. So, I mean, from a Liverpool point of view,
I'm set for my fantasy league. I'm set for my fantasy league, bro. I need to change my team.
Have you got Rafinha in there? Is it?
I got Rafinha.
I don't even have Rafinha in there. Actually, I don't think I have Rafinha in there. But yeah,
how confident are you feeling, Harry, about what you've just shared with us, with the 2 key players being out?
That's a really good question, right? Actually, not confident because it's Leeds and Leeds away as well. Leeds is such a good side away. I think you guys made easy meat of them, but I think when you play them away from home, they're a different beast almost. They press really high. And I think, Liverpool is the one that I'm missing the most, right? You're spot on. I mean, they press really high. They're dogged in the middle of the park. Calvin Phillips plays for them up top. I think Bamford's really good as well. So I'm actually worried about this game without these players, especially, I think, for me, the 2 big ones are Fabinho and Alisson. Alisson, I mean, the drop-off from Alisson to Adrian or Kelleher is too big. I mean, he's the best keeper in the world, right? Pretty much. And Fabinho, man.
Arguable.
Well, I'm not going to count De Gea and that is inconsistent, but Fabinho is probably one of the best defensive midfielders in the league. I think that's fair to say. When he plays in there, he's absolutely solid. So that's going to be a bit of a miss. But at the same time, I'm happy because Leeds' most dangerous player, in my opinion, is Rafinha. So if he's out, I think Henderson can come in and do a job in Fabinho's place. The only big miss would probably be Alisson. Jota can play instead of Firmino, and he's been on fire. So, I mean, not ideal, but I'm still confident going into the game that we'll get a result. We'll get a very hard-fought win, but I think we'll get a result in the game. Although I think it's going to be really tight, and it probably would have been easier with Alisson in there.
I think it's going to be a draw. 1-1. That's right.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Ram on that. I'm going with a 1-1 draw as well.
I would. Funny enough, I wouldn't mind a draw in this game. I'll probably take a draw away from him against Leeds. But I'm going to stick my neck out. I think we'll get a win. I think we drew that last season as well, but I think we'll get a win this time. We'll get a 2-1 win. And I think Jota and Salah will get on the score sheet in this one and save the day for us. So that's my opinion going into this game. I think it'll be a really good game though, this one. I think it's one of those games that's going to be really good to watch because Leeds don't hold back. They don't just defend, they attack. Liverpool do the same. So I think it'll be a really good watch for any neutrals out there as well. I think it's a game you want to catch. It'd be a shame if these guys miss the game.
I think Daniel James will be playing for Leeds. Will he be?
Oh, that's a really good point, actually. Yeah, so probably he comes in instead of Rafinha, isn't it? Yeah.
So he could be dangerous in the flank as well. So not so dangerous when he was in United, but things could change when he goes to Leeds. So could be a possibility.
I think their style of play. He's a hard worker, right, James?
Yep.
The Leeds are a pacey side as well, very quick on the counter. But yeah, that's on Monday. Is that on Monday night for us? Early Monday morning for us.
Which one? The Leeds Liverpool.
It's 11:30 Sunday.
Yes, 11:30 Sunday. So late night game. It's a good game though. I think it's a much watch even for neutral. I think it'll be a really good game.
Absolutely
to catch. And I didn't think of Daniel James. He's a good player. He's pacey and stuff, but I mean, if you've got Andy Robertson or even a half sleepy Kostas Tsimikas, I think we get the job done on Daniel James. So I'm not too concerned about him. He's after all a United flop, isn't he? So
he's below the belt, this guy.
I had to throw that in. But listen, Alan Road crowd can't be undermined. I agree, man. Leeds will have fans in the stadium this time, and they are always a powerful.
They'll be the 12th man.
I always remember when I talk about Leeds, I always remember the game we played against Leeds. I think it was in year 2000 when Mark Viduka was playing for them. And he scored 4 goals. It was 4-3 and Viduka scored 4 goals, I remember. So yeah, the place can really be quite vibrant, especially if Leeds play well. So a bit worried about that one, but we'll see how that one goes. Now, let's move on, guys. Let's quickly talk about Chelsea Aston Villa. Good game because we've got Ankit here as well. And I think he's pointed out a couple of key things, including the fact that Lukaku and Pulisic might be missing, apart from Thiago Silva and James as well. Reece James as well, waiting on injury news. So this will be quite a good one. Now, if they are actually missing Lukaku, who I think has been a great signing, I don't know what are your thoughts on this one, Gary, on the Lukaku signing for Chelsea.
I completely agree with you, man. I'm a big fan of Lukaku. I think he's really transformed. He's really refined his game as a striker. There were moments at United where he showed some, touches of brilliance. But I think you used to, with Lukaku, it was always a bittersweet experience watching him play. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Andy Cole. And, no disrespect to Cole or whatever, but I felt like with Lukaku, he needed maybe 5 chances and then he'd convert 1. But now I think, I look at him when he was at Inter, banging in goals like nobody's business, and he's been doing this for Belgium every time he plays for them. I just think he's become such a clinical finisher, and under Tuchel I think he's only going to get better with that Chelsea squad around him with the quality that he has. So yeah, I rate him, and I think he's going to monster Villa tomorrow if he plays.
Absolutely, man.
I mean, it could be Werner on the other hand, who Ram likes to call offside Werner. But yeah, great point. Werner got a couple of goals.
I call him offside Werner. Yeah.
He got a couple of goals and an assist in the international break for Germany. But I don't know if you guys caught the miss he had. Even though he scored 2 goals and he had an assist, it's going around, right? It's going viral now. One of the misses of the year, I think Werner had for Germany, where he literally missed an open goal, which he does quite regularly for Chelsea. So. This is an interesting one, right? I agree. Lukaku is absolutely brilliant. I think it was a missing piece for them because they've got all the other pieces, solid defense, really good in the midfield. They've got Saul now in midfield as well, who's a really good. I think he's a really good player they brought in. And then they've got a lot of attacking flair, right? Who create a lot of chances. Werner was missing them. I think Lukaku will score them. But if he's missing tomorrow, it's not an easy game, this one, because they got Villa. Who are doing quite well, with obviously Danny Ings doing really well, Buendia doing quite well for them as well. It's a bit tricky game. I know it's at Stamford Bridge, guys, but let's have a quick prediction from everyone. How do you think this one's going to go around?
Okay, so if you ask me...
Based on the news you just heard, right, that there's a potential that Lukaku, Pulisic may not play, James may not play, Thiago Silva may not play as well.
I mean, to be honest, yes, Chelsea, they are running right at the moment. They're scoring goals for fun. They look solid at the back. But I just have this slight feeling that this could end in a draw as well. I mean, I don't think Chelsea is going to lose this game. But I think if you're talking about Ankit mentioning all the players that might not be in the Chelsea squad when they play, I think it could be a 2-2, maybe a 1-1 draw possible. Danny Ings to be on the score sheet, though, I feel.
Interesting. Well, again, some really interesting team news here, but Villa could be missing Martinez and Buendia, to obviously the guys who went to Argentina, right, and who had that big, there was a big fuss in the Argentina-Brazil game. So if that's the case, where are you leaning on this one, Gary? It's home for Chelsea, though, and Chelsea, as you probably saw against Liverpool, even with 10 men, are a formidable force, man.
No, absolutely, man. I think I'm going to go with a comfortable Chelsea winning this 2-0. I think Villa is going to get some. They're going to get a number of good chances, but I just don't think they're going to convert them. Easy win for Chelsea for me.
I agree with that one, man. I think Chelsea will win this easily just because of the way they played us. I remember with 10 men for the whole half, I thought they were brilliant, and they're very organized. And Villa, if they're missing Buendia, who's a real creative force for them, Jack Grealish not there anymore now. Danny Ings is brilliant, but he needs chances, right? Who's going to create the chances for him? So, especially away at Stamford Bridge. So, with that in mind, I'm actually going to go for comfortable Villa win as well. Chelsea win as well.
Chelsea.
I'm going to go 3-0 on this one. Even without Lukaku, I think they'll get the job done on this one. Guys, let's round this up with the big one. I think this is probably, you can say, one of the biggest games of the weekend. Leicester City at home against Manchester City. Manchester City, as everyone and everyone knows they've won the last couple of games. I mean, absolutely tore. I think it was Norwich and Arsenal apart, 5-0 each. But they lost the first game. The difficult game they had, they did lose against Spurs away. And this is the next away game. It's Leicester. Not an easy game for them. They've always struggled against Leicester.
Don't forget, they won the Charity Shield, Community Shield, right? Leicester beat Man City in the Community
Yeah,
Shield.
that's
So,
Yeah,
so it's revenge for
Brendan
City, but I think Leicester will be a formidable force, in their home ground. So I think it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I think I'll look at this way, right? They're playing at home, and
Yep.
they're probably one of the teams that are best suited to play Man City, right? Because they'll defend and then they'll break on them with Jamie Vardy and Patson Daka now, and a lot of pacey players, Harvey Barnes, Madison, etc. I think they seem like a team that's ready-made or tailor-made to play this Man City team on the break. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on this one, man, Gary? What are your thoughts going to this game?
I think this is going to be a great game. As you said, perhaps the biggest game of the week for us, for anyone who's a football fan, and it will be interesting to see how Pep, I suppose, refines how he uses Grealish. I think it's going to be a interesting match, and for me, it's going to be perhaps a slight, I suppose, advantage for Leicester, who are at home. 1-0 win for Leicester for me.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Repeat of the Community Shield scoreline. 1-0.
Tell you what, if that comes true, I'll be happy as a Liverpool fan. I know you guys will be happy as well, but that will make it 2 defeats in 4 games for City. Not a good start to the Premier League campaign. What about you, Ram? Where do you think this game is going to be won and lost, man?
Well, first and foremost, I do hope that Leicester win the game. That's what I would want. But I think City will go into this game too strong for Leicester, because I feel that City has enough firepower to punish Leicester, and with Grealish coming into the fray, I think it's only a matter of time before he does his cutting in and creating some chances for City. So I think it's going to be a comfortable win for City. I think it's going to be a 3-1 win for City.
Oh wow, it's interesting. It's a good point. I mean, City is one of those teams, right? If they get a goal, then I think it's really hard. Then they start. Then they have you on the ropes pretty much, right? Then they go and get to. I think if they don't get an early goal, or they struggle to get a goal, that's when I see Leicester maybe breaking on them at some specific point and getting a goal, right?
What about you, Harry?
I'm actually going to agree with Gary on this one. I've got a feeling Leicester will get a result, especially coming back off an international break as well. A lot of players gone abroad, coming back, not enough training time. They may not be on it as well. And I just think Leicester will have the edge because they're playing at home. City players would have had to travel as well after an international break to play Leicester. Got a funny feeling this one. I think Leicester will get a result, man. They will get a 1-0 win, I think, in this game. I think they will get a win over Man City. But I think it will be a really good game, though. Really interesting game. Yeah. Really good tactical game. Very interesting tactical game. And how this is going to play out will be super, super interesting, man. Any players let's put you guys on the spot, right? Before we sort of move on to the final game and talk a little bit about, we have to talk about Spurs, obviously, because they sit on top of the table. I don't really like to talk about them, but we're going to have to. Because they're top of the table.
Hey, they got Spurs fans,
I know, exactly.
So, be nice, be nice.
You're going to have to do that. So you're going to have to talk about Spurs because they're top of the table, right? But before we move on to talk a little bit about Spurs, putting your Man United hats on, right? I know you guys have got a brilliant squad now, but if there was one player that you could pick out of Leicester for your squad, for your team, who would that be?
Gary, go first.
I would Vardy for me.
Vardy for you. Yuri Tillemans.
Sorry, I completely forgot about Tillemans. I'm going to go with Ram. I stand corrected. Tillemans, yes.
Yuri Tillemans.
He also assisted, I think, for one of the Belgium goals over the qualifiers. I think there was a nice link up. He fed someone, and then that person fed Hazard. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. Tillemans for sure, right? He'll fill up that gap in the center of the park for us as well.
Yep.
That's a good point, man.
That will
I just
solve
read an
that will
I
solve our midfield problem, Gary. Definitely, if he comes onto the squad.
I just read an article. I just read an article about yeah, Eugene. We'll get to Spurs. We'll get to Spurs, but yeah, I just read an article about just I think it was a day or two ago about Real Madrid being interested in Tielemans. That's how highly rated he is. So yeah, he's a really good player, and I can
I
see
think
why
he'll stay
Madrid
in the
would make
Premier
the
League.
move
Yeah,
because
I think he'll stay
Madrid.
in the Premier League.
I mean, I can see what I can see Madrid being interested because Madrid have an aging midfield, right, with Modric, Cruz, and all that, and he's the kind of player who could play for Madrid. He's got creativity about him. He's young. He could be a player for them for the next 6, 7 years. So yeah, I could see that kind of a player
Yeah.
suiting the way Madrid plays. For me, I'm surprised you guys didn't say this. For me, I like Wilfred and Didi a lot from Leicester. Oh, he's
he's
such a
really
good.
good.
I think that's one position that's really hard to find a player in defensive midfield. And I think you guys lack one as well, right? A quality defensive midfielder, someone like Fabinho.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to find, right? You got Kante, Fabinho, Fernandinho. And I think Ndidi is top class, man, as a defensive midfielder. His stats are brilliant. He's just solid for Leicester. Whenever he plays, they win comfortably. And when he doesn't play, the win ratio for them really drops. So he's a really interesting player for Leicester. The other one I really like is Harvey Barnes. I think he's got really good potential moving forward as well. That guy, young, English, a lot of potential moving forward. Yes, indeed, broke, but let's
Harry,
move
the
on.
point you made on Harry, sorry to interrupt you, but the point made on Ndidi, it reminds me of N'Golo Kante a while back, right? And is he still part of the Chelsea squad at the moment? Is he a starter for them at the moment?
Kante
Leicester.
Yes.
Leicester. No.
You mean
I mean now
Kante,
for Chelsea, right?
Kante, right? Talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kante,
Kante,
yes,
yes,
he's still part of
yes.
the squad. He's injured, though. He got injured against Liverpool last week. But apparently,
Okay.
from what I heard, he's fit again, so he'll probably play this weekend. But yeah, N'Golo
Right.
Kante is brilliant. And yeah, Leicester have a knack of picking up players like that, right? They had Kante, they sold him, and then they brought in Ndidi. Ndidi is very much like Kante, and I'm surprised
Yeah.
none of the big clubs have really gone in for him. I suppose
United were interested. They were interested in him, but just that it didn't go through. So
because he's like Kante, right? He's like two players in one. He covers a lot of ground and will help your other players really shine. So I'm actually surprised that. But I suppose at the same time, Leicester are doing so well right now. Why would you leave, right? They're doing really well. Unless a really top club comes in for him and they're willing to pay money, I think Leicester won't do business, right? Right, guys, very quickly before we end the show for today, what about Spurs, man? They're playing Crystal Palace away from home. Palace under Patrick Vieira haven't started great. I think they've got a point or so. But against Spurs, top of the table Spurs, 3-1-0 wins under the new manager, Nuno. How do you think this one is going to go, man? It looks like Spurs should win this comfortably. Vieira struggling at Palace, but it never really works out that way in the Premier League. How do you think this one is going to go, Gary?
So you've covered all the key points, Harry. I think it's going to be an easy one for Spurs. I think they've got just too much the quality firepower up front. Hopefully, Kane has put all the drama with the movement aside. I think get the link up with Son again, and it's just going to be an easy walkover for them, I think. And it obviously helps that Crystal Palace is not in a fantastic place as well, as you pointed out correctly.
Yeah, horrible form under Patrick Vieira. He's got to start winning, right? If not, he'll probably lose his job as well, Vieira. What about you, Ram? Where do you stand on the Spurs side, man? Nuno, man, everyone was saying Nuno. It's underwhelming managerial choice by them, but he's got them organized, right? They don't concede goals. And if you don't concede goals, and if you've got Son and Kane up front, you're bound to get a chance and they will convert, right? I think it's really smart the way he's done it. He's made them tough to beat or to score against. And then he knows with the two firepower, the two players he has up front, Kane, Son, maybe Lucas Moura, if they get a chance, they will put it away and they'll score. And as long as you win 1-0, it's still a win, right? So I think he's done the right thing. He's come into Spurs and he's focused on the foundation, right? Keeping it tight at the back and then trying to nick a few games because of the firepower up front. Are you impressed by him, Ram?
I'm just going to say this because this is basically something that I called. That Nuno was actually going to be a Spurs manager, and
I think you said he was going to be a good manager as well. Yeah,
I said he was going to be a good manager, and it happened. So that's something I hold on to very closely. Obviously, I think he is that tough and rough kind of a manager where you can see how he gets his defense to work with the midfield and then into attack. You can see very clearly they look like a very organized squad compared to last season under Jose. So they are playing attractive football. They are having those games going on. But I do agree with Gary as well, because Kane, he has to be on his best performance if he's gonna shine for Spurs, because he just scored a brilliant goal for England in that 1-1 draw against Poland. So
It was absolutely brilliant goal. Yeah.
was absolutely a brilliant goal. So I think he should put his act together, and he could do wonders for Spurs this season. And hopefully, with the new manager, with Nuno, he could lead Spurs to a bigger glory compared to last season, obviously. But I'm hoping for things to change. I'm hoping for Crystal Palace to nick this one. I know
So are you saying they're going to win it?
I'm gonna put the cards on the line here. I think Crystal Palace are going to get their first win. It's going to be a 1-0 win. Why I say this is because Spurs have this tendency to stay in the when they're on top. They tend to drop at some point. So I think this could be the time that they could drop, which could be a wake up call, for them to perform better. Remember, Gary, when Spurs beat us 6-1 at Old Trafford, they were flying high, and then suddenly, boom, they dipped. So I think it could be one of those moments again for Spurs. So I think it's going to be.
There's a word for this, right? It's a very Spursy thing, isn't it? The Spurs way they call it, right? They just fall apart when they're going great. And yeah, it's possible, man. I mean, I'm actually going to go for Crystal Palace here as well. I think on paper Spurs should win this, but because again, coming back from an international break, players traveling all over the place, a couple of players may be missing for Spurs, and Palace having to win. It's a must-win for Vieira. Wilfred Zaha.
I think a lot of pride at stake as well for Vieira, So
and not just that. I noticed players like Wilfred Zaha, they always turn up only for the big games. It's almost like he wants to make his mark. Big game against Spurs, he probably will turn up. I think they might nick this Palace actually for Vieira. They might nick it 1-0 or 2-1. But on paper, it should be an easy Spurs win. But like I said, no games are won on paper, man. Guys, before we leave, I have. Yeah, go ahead.
Chen, sorry, I've got a question, if I may. Your point about Nuno coming in and then lifting the squad. Now they are top of the table, sitting comfortably, or rather not so comfortably, a point above everybody else. Do you think when a manager comes in from a slightly, I would say, smaller side, and then inheriting a team and the players that he has at his disposal now in the Spurs squad, do you think managers like that actually benefit and it makes their life somewhat easier? They've always managed a squad that is not as complete, I suppose, or not as you will have a few pockets of weaknesses, but then you come into a team like Spurs and you realize suddenly you've got a much more robust squad. You've got a squad that has been competing for at least the top 5 or 6 positions over the last couple of seasons. Do you think that makes it easier for a manager?
Good point. I'll take this on, then you can add on as well.
Sure.
That's a really good point, right? So I think it depends, really. I think if you come from a club like a Wolves, for example, I think the way they played makes a big difference with Nuno. I think of the way Nuno played, or the way his tactics were for Wolves, it was always very well organized. They were very well drilled. The Wolves team was very well drilled, right? So they used to defend really well and then hit on the break with a lot of pace with Adama Traore and etc. But the focus was always defensive solidity and organization. And I think he's translated that to Spurs. Now, I think what helps him is the fact that, Spurs have been just unsuccessful, isn't it? For them, what's success for them? I think even if he improves them a little bit, he's going to get, there's going to be some positivity in the crowd, in the stadium. And also, I think there's less pressure on him because he was like the 4th or 5th choice manager for them. He was not the first choice. So there's almost as if the Spurs fan would they didn't have any hope. There was no expectations on this guy. And he's come in there, and what he's done is he's gone with defense first. I think the danger is sometimes you can get a manager coming in from a small club who are used to playing attacking football. Maybe someone like Eddie Howe for Bournemouth, etc., who used to play attacking football. And then he comes to Spurs and wants to play that way, that attacking game as well. I think can be a little bit dangerous because you don't focus on the defense, and then you could very easily lose 2 or 3 games on the bounce, and then your head is on the line. I think what Nuno has done is really intelligent. He's just come there and he said, listen, we're just not going to concede goals. Even if we draw 0-0, it's fine. We're not conceding goals. We're going to be solid, be organized. And then I know we've got a couple of good strikers. We will nick a goal on the break, So I think he's made some really interesting decisions as well. He's got Tanguy and Ndombele, who he's left out of the squad completely. He's playing Lucas Moura a lot. I think Spurs have a really good midfielder, Pierre Højbjerg. Højbjerg, I think. Yeah, Emil, I think he's a brilliant midfielder, so I think that helps as well. So I think, great question, Gary. But in my opinion, I think because of the way he's come in, he's not just gone, let's just attack and then screw the whole thing up, but he's just focused on keeping it tight and then trying to nick the game. I think that's what's helped him. What do you think, Ram?
No, I think I agree with you completely, Hari. I think it's not. I wouldn't say it's much of an upgrade or a downgrade, whatever it is. I think where he left off from Wolves was an easy transition for him to come into Spurs, because if you look at the players he had in Wolves, of course, a lot of Portuguese influence, and I think he transformed Wolves like no one expected them to be transformed. So, and the fact that he's coming into Spurs right now with all these players that at his disposal. He is focusing on the right thing. Like, okay, we need to build on defense because they were poor last season, building on the midfield. And you could see from the first 3 games that Spurs had played, I think you could see how focused they are on ensuring they do not want to concede goals. So I think from now on, moving forward, after the 4th or 5th game, I think you're going to see Nuno taking a bit more risks. I think he's going to be a lot more attacking minded. He's going to try to create more fast track attack. I think you're going to see a lot more of Son making those magical runs, Højbjerg making those passes through. I think that's what's going to happen after the 4th or 5th game. So after 10 games, then you probably will see how Spurs would be in the season. Will end up in the season. So
I think it's too soon to say as well, right? It's a new manager bounce, right? New manager bounce. You win 3 or 4 games in a row, and then you could just fall apart, right? So we don't know, but I think he's come in then exactly early days. But I think he's come in and done the right things. But we'll know very soon, guys. I'm going to take this. I'm going to let you guys take this question, and then after that, we'll sort of wrap things up. But do you guys think Ronaldo will fly out of the gate, or will that be an adjustment period?
Gary, you go, man.
He's gonna fly out of the gate. He's gonna feast on anyone that you put in front of him. I mean, this guy, like I said again, I mean, he's done anything and everything that you can think of. He's gone to the best leagues in the world. He's proven. Even last, I mean, we spoke about what a beast Lukaku was, but Ronaldo even I think topped him in the scoring, outscored him, right?
Yep.
And I mean, this guy is a goal machine. He keeps breaking records. I think he's going to fly out of the gate. He's going to fly in your face. He's going to make sure the ball flies in the net. Everything is going to be flying when he's around.
One thing we know won't be flying from Ronaldo is tackles, right? So tackles will be flying to him, So
I doubt you'll see a kung fu kick flying off him. Like he's not a Cantona.
No. He's not a Cantona. But
sorry, if I may, I think the interesting about a player like Ronaldo, which Keane shared also recently, this guy has really changed his game. He knows now, what his strengths are, what his weaknesses are. He's not as quick as he was perhaps once, and running down the flanks and I suppose beating 5-6 people and cutting in. He's really changed his game. He's no longer looking to do all those things that he did 5-6 years ago. He's still really, really clinical inside the box. So he's just a complete player because he knows where the goal is, and he knows how to ensure that the ball gets into the back of the net. And in football, currency is goals, right? So he's going to get his goals. How he does it, I don't know, but he's going to do it. Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
I agree. As a Liverpool fan, it pains me to say, but I think this guy is going to get a ton of goals.
Yep.
The only hope I have is hopefully he impacts the way United play, because like you said, he's changed the way he plays. He doesn't run around as much. I don't know if he's going to close down or defend from the front as much. So the hope is that maybe the United's way of playing gets impacted a little bit, or there's a bit of disharmony in the squad. But apart from that, I think this guy is going to guarantee a lot of goals, man.
I'm going to say,
and I'll let you answer Karan's question, Ram.
Okay, Karan, yes, put him as your captain. I put him as my captain as well. I managed to get Ronaldo. I put him as my captain,
How
so I
much is he
didn't
on
really understand.
fantasy? He's a lot, right? It's about 12.5.
11.5 for
Oh,
12,
wow.
12. Yeah, so that's what I did. Gary, do you play fantasy by any chance?
I do not. I do not.
Okay, no problem. If you ever get a chance to do so, do it if you can. Follow us as well because we join a league and all that. So yes, Karan, yes, put him as your captain. And to answer the question, I think yes, Ronaldo is going to fly. He's going to fly. He's going to play a lot of games for United. I think as long as he's not injured, which he hardly is injured anyway. So I think he's going to play lots of games. He's going to score lots of goals, and he is going to be the biggest influence for people like Greenwood, Sancho. And I think it's just going to be a legacy that's going to live in United for a long, long time to come. So that's what I think is going to happen, and I'm really, really looking forward for Saturday's game. I can't wait, man. I'm like, why is it not Saturday yet? Why do I have to wait for 2 more days before the game starts? Damn.
Tell me about it, man.
All right, guys, listen, we're gonna move on. We're gonna obviously wrap the show up, but before we do, I've got to ask this one question, guys,
Yep.
because I just have to ask it, right? Any Arsenal
Yep.
fans out there? I'm sorry, Shamdas, I know you're an Arsenal fan as well, so I'm gonna take your name in here. But uh, Arsenal
Thank
fans out
goodness.
there,
Thank goodness. Hello.
we've got to end. We've got to end on a happy note for us, like, may not be a happy note for Arsenal fans out there. So yeah, guys, Arsenal Norwich. I think everyone knows playing at home. If they lose this, if they end up not even lose, I think if they end up even drawing this, it's surely the end of Mr. Arteta, isn't it?
Yep. Surely.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so now
it's
put your
hard
neck.
to see how they're gonna
Now put your
how
neck on
they'll
the
keep him
line.
after this.
Is he going to draw or lose this game? Home
Let's be
against
fair.
Norwich.
Let's be
Go
fair.
on, Ram.
Let's be fair. I think Arsenal will win this one. I think it's come to a point where they have lost their first 3 games. They have conceded 9 goals. Correct me if I'm wrong. They conceded 9 goals.
I think so. They
They
haven't
have not.
scored yet. Yeah.
They haven't scored a goal yet, and they are playing at the Emirates. I think they're going to win, and I think this is the time for Arsenal to put on a show and really go riot. I think they need to send a message to the Premier League. They are stuck at the bottom of the Premier League right now. They know that's not where they belong, and of course, we all know that's not where Arsenal belong because they do have a lot of history at the club as well. So I think I'm going to go with comfortable 3-0 win for Arsenal.
You're right, Ram. They belong in the
Perfect.
league below. They don't belong in the Premier League. They belong in the league.
Gary, you're the man. You're the man. You're the man. There you go. There you go.
If there's any game that Arsenal would have prayed for, is this one, right? Because it's against Norwich, who are an
Yep.
open team, just came up,
Yep.
open team, play at open football. Arsenal will get tons of chances. They should win this comfortably. Gary,
They should. They should.
what do you think, man?
I don't think they're going to lose it, Harry, but I don't think they're going to win it either. I think they're going to struggle. Look, it's easy for us to to point fingers at Arteta and say he's gotten it wrong. But I think when I look at the players, when I look at the Arsenal team out there, I don't think they've got any leaders, to be honest, in the squad.
Yep.
I think the players have lost confidence, and in the Premier League, you get punished when you don't have that kind of that I suppose that togetherness, that understanding, the ability to kind of lead one another on the pitch. Norwich is going to smell this, and they're going to smell it quickly.
Yep.
They know Arsenal's there for the taking. I can't believe I'm saying it, but yeah, they're bottom of the league. I think their confidence is dented, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if they lost. I don't think they will. I think it'll be a draw, but I don't see them winning it. And I think the blame should not be shouldered on Arteta alone, but I think the players need to kind of put their hands up and say they've all gotten it wrong. Some major changes are required at the club, and God bless them. Any Arsenal fans out there? Moment of silence for all of you. My apologies.
I'm going to say I agree with Gary to a certain extent there. It should be an easy game, should be an easy win, and I can see Arsenal flying out of the blocks. Emirates, they will go flying out to get the goals, but this is where I think things could go very badly wrong. The Arsenal fans in that stadium are already pissed off, disappointed. Most of them want Arteta out already if they don't get an early goal. If it goes half now without them scoring, I think the game is going to turn, because I think what confidence is shattered as it is. The crowd will start booing. They'll start getting a bit anxious. Norwich will smell blood. and I think it could end up being a draw this one. So it all depends on whether they get an early goal. If not, I could see this going really badly wrong for Arsenal. Really quick one, guys. I don't know if you saw this, but I thought I'll share this. I saw a meme basically of Japanese players. I don't know if you guys saw this. Man United bought a Japanese player, Shinji Kagawa. That very year they won the league. You see this, Ram? Leicester City bought a Japanese player, Shinji Okazaki. They won the league. Liverpool then bought a Japanese player, Minamino. That season they won the league. Guess who bought a Japanese player in this window? Arsenal bought Tomiyasu on deadline day. So is Arsenal going to win the league, guys?
Yeah, the league below.
Spot on.
and on that note, over to you, Ram.
Well. We're not going to say anything. We hope for the best. Well, thank you once again, everyone, for your comments. Thank you for joining the live chat. Thank you, of course, to Eugene, Karan, everyone. Thank you so much. So, Gary, once again, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a wonderful 1 hour that we've spent with you today. So much that we have enjoyed talking about United and, of course, Ronaldo's comeback. We want to invite you again in the future, Gary. Will you be up to join us in the future?
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me. It's been great fun, and good to see you talk about football. Good seeing you. I haven't seen you outside for God knows how long as well. So it's been really fun, and I'd be happy to jump on again anytime.
Yeah, awesome. We'll do a Liverpool United game review or preview very soon when that comes up, and we're probably going to have a number of fans on the show. So that'd be really cool, man, to have you on for that one. Really good having you, Gary. Like I said, good to see you after so long, man, and hopefully see you in person soon. Once
brother.
Things sort of open up, and then we'll definitely catch up, man. Ram, want to sign off, man?
All right, guys. So signing off from the Plot Malaysia. Join us, Gary. This is the show for the fans.
By the fans.
Cheers,
guys.
Thanks,
and check
everyone.
out Ronaldo
Thanks, guys.
this weekend. Cheers, man.
All right. Cheers. Ronaldo. Viva Ronaldo.